Hello everybody, my name is Disciple of One and today we're going to talk about the best tips on how to improve at the game and climb the ladder, especially now that Set 2 is out and rank will be available very soon. Nothing like a clean and fresh start so you guys can start the season the best way possible by developing good habits. Before we get started, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of context, and so I played TFT for maybe 2 weeks when the game was released. Rank didn't even existed yet, and then never touched, heard or seen anything about the game for the next 2.5 months to 3 months. Then I decided to come back, and of course I was awful at the game. Did my placements, ended up in Iron 3. I messed around for a couple days just doing weird things, just having fun. And then I didn't really know what I was doing at all. Then I decided I would give it a go and actually try to see how much higher I could go on the ranked ladder. And I went from Iron to Masters in 30 days. So without further ado, let's get started with the actual real stuff. The first thing I did, which is also the obvious one, was to learn what units, synergies and compositions are good. You can start by figuring out things yourself, but doing a little bit of research outside of the game about this topic accelerates the process by quite a lot. What I did was I picked one strong and fairly easy comp to play, and I pretty much played the same build every game till high gold, low platinum. Now I know that doing this is not the most optimal and best way of playing the game, but by doing it, it helped me to learn a little bit of every single aspect of the game in general. I started noticing why that particular comp was considered strong, what was the comp weak against, what were my power spikes, and all these small little things ended up helping a ton in learning the game faster. Now of course, doing this can only get me so far, because even though I climbed the ranked ladder pretty fast those couple days, I still didn't have nearly enough knowledge about many other important aspects of the game that were crucial to know in order to achieve higher ranks. And as such, I needed to learn other core mechanics such as economy and itemization, for example. So economy is something we all have some level of knowledge about it. Like for example, most of us know that reaching 50 gold gives you the most interest and therefore is a very good thing to do. But how do we do it and how do we get there the right way? I started by knowing some ideal stages of when to level up, for example, when to roll and when to eco. Nothing too complex, just some general rules of thumb that can be applied to almost every scenario. Stuff like knowing that leveling to level 7, for example, right after wolves, is often very ideal. This was something that I had no idea up until I did some research about it. Of course, whether you're playing standard or hyper-rolling strats, these things tend to vary quite a lot, it might not even apply. But as general rules of thumb, these are all very valuable and super important things to know. Now regarding itemization, I think it was around platinum rank that I noticed that I was doing suboptimal items early game, and then late game I would end up with a team comp that would not benefit from those items in the most optimal way. And that was causing me to be bottom 4 in a lot of games, even though I thought I had a pretty decent comp overall. Knowing what items I could build early game that would be good throughout the entire game, as well as starting to stack items on an early game carry to sell that unit later and then put those items on a late game carry was crucial to start getting more top 4s and climb the ladder. Okay, so now let's talk about positioning and scouting. This step was crucial in order to climb in platinum elo and reach diamond. Now, positioning in set 2 might be a little bit different because of all the elemental hexes that are spawned randomly on the board, but the basics continue to be applied. I started to put random units in corners in order to bait for assassins and protect my carries. I started to spread out units if I was fighting against lots of AoE, for example. If I managed to get Hush or Disarm items, I would try to make sure those units would start the fight by hitting crucial ultimate units, such as Sejuani or Cho'Gath. All of these things made me improve as a player, and as a consequence, it allowed me to climb much faster. Now, regarding scouting, this is something I feel it will be super important in Set 2, especially if you're going to hyper-roll. Due to the much lower amount of units in each tier, you really do have to scout before you start rolling for those units, otherwise you risk to ruin your economy and hit no 3 stars at all. The way I used scouting to improve and climb the ladder was mostly to check if other people were going similar builds to mine. This was crucial in order to know which comps I could transition into the late game. 7 ASOLs are taken out of the pool already? Well, I guess I'll try to see if I can transition into Draven or Jinx, for example. In the same way, you can apply this to set 2. Oh, you wanted to go Olaf, but you noticed that 3 other people are going for Olaf as well? Well, now you know that forcing Olaf might not be the best decision to take. And of course, in order to position my units correctly against my opponents, I also had to do lots of scouting, as I mentioned before. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, which was also the hardest thing for me to learn, is transitioning. Transitioning from an early game comp into a late game comp where I had to change at times 4 or 5 units in one round after leveling up, it's super hard to do. If you do your transition wrong or just delay even 1 or 2 rounds, you lose a lot of HP. I've seen a lot of top players messing up transitioning as well, you know, because it's really hard to do well consistently. And in that specific round that they messed up, they lose 15 HP. That is crazy. This is how important and hard transitioning is. And again, in set 2 things are quite different because you can go for 3-star units more often, which forces you to stick with those units till late game, making transitioning easier. But getting better at this was what made me climb in Diamond. And then with the combination of all of these things that I mentioned in this video, it allowed me to achieve Master rank. And now, just before finishing the video real quick, I would like to give you guys some final tips that will help you to improve much faster. Record your gameplay and analyze it. You wouldn't imagine how much you can learn from your own gameplay. You can spot mistakes and bad habits, and identifying that is a great way to improve. Be critical of your own gameplay and review the game after each match. After each match, think what you could have done better. Like, actually pause for a second and think about the game that just happened and think what you could have done better. I literally developed this as a habit and I do it after every game, even if I win. Say things out loud so they stick in your head. You can say things like, okay, after Krugs we're gonna roll down and we're gonna look for Vladimir's. Or, alright, so next round we're gonna level up and then we're gonna transition into mages with Brand. These type of comments help you to stay focused, especially in important rounds. And last but not least, watch VODs of high elo players. I do this all the time and this is an insane help to improve as a player. You can literally just go on Twitch, watch the top players in the game and even ask them any question about the game, and almost 100% of the time they will answer. It's insane, the TFT community is super helpful towards each other, and this shows even from the best in the game. And that was it. If you guys found the video useful and are interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check my other socials, Twitch and Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a wonderful ranked season start.